so we begin with Hillary Clinton and Tim Kaine. Well aware this race is tighter than ever. And is she ready for that first debate? We sit here in Ohio, key battleground, and we've seen the ads in these battleground states. They start with, "I'm Hillary Clinton, and I approve this message." And the rest of the ad is entirely about Donald Trump. Are you making this about Donald Trump?
No, David, I think that if you've seen all of our ads, we have a lot of very positive ads. We have an ad running about my vision for jobs, something Tim and I care a lot about. The best I can tell is Donald Trump is for building a big wall, which we now know after his unfortunate trip to Mexico. The Mexicans have said they're not paying for it.
You talk about the trip to Mexico.
Yes.
Donald Trump said they did not discuss who would pay for that wall. The Mexican president afterwards said they did discuss it and that Mexico would not pay for it. Your campaign said, quote, "It turns out Trump didn't just choke, he got beat in the room and lied about it."
Yeah.
Is that what you believe?
Well, that's what it sounded like, because what happened is what we call a diplomatic incident, because he came out saying one thing and the Mexican president contradicted him almost immediately. So it is clear that he went down with a mission. It's been the mission of his whole campaign from the very first day to demonize immigrants, to call Mexicans rapists and criminals, to do everything he could to stir up all kinds of bad feelings about hardworking people. And he didn't raise it, so he did choke.
The Mexican president has invited you. Will you travel to Mexico before Election Day?
David, I have met with the president. My campaign team, my top national security advisors are in contact with not only his staff and ambassador. I'm going to continue to focus on what we're doing to create jobs here at home.
So no trip before Election Day?
No.
On those trips, Donald Trump tweeted, "Hillary Clinton didn't go to Louisiana. She didn't go to Mexico. She doesn't have the drive or stamina to make America great again." He goes on to say, "Does she look presidential, fellas? Give me a break."
Well, can I just, does she look presidential, fellas? That's an idiotic comment from Donald Trump. I got added to this ticket about 11, 12 weeks, 100 days from the election. This great public servant has been on the field for 17 or 18 months. It's hard to keep up with her. And look, and Hillary Clinton has been willing to share with the American public all the information about her health in a way that Donald Trump wanted.
We now have the doctor who signed his letter basically saying he did it in 5 minutes because the, quote, limousine was waiting. It is devoid of information.
You don't think his doctor is credible?
I'm just telling you what he had said. I don't know anything about the gentleman. And look, it's what Tim said. I've released 40 plus years of tax returns. He hasn't released any. I think that's a big question mark that people need to ask themselves. Why wouldn't he?
Let me ask you about your emails.
Yes.
It was a year ago, Secretary Clinton, you sat across from me, and you said not only was it a mistake,
Right.
But that you were sorry.
Right.
A year later, we sit together again.
Yes.
And the issue hasn't gone away. The FBI just released documents on its own investigation into your emails. In the report, you told FBI investigators that you were either unaware or misunderstood some of the classification procedures. We also read about an aide who got rid of old BlackBerries, is using a hammer, taking a hammer to a BlackBerry. When Americans hear that, do you think that feeds into what the FBI director said when he said about you, that you were extremely careless with your emails?
Well, I hope not, because I take classification very seriously. And what I want people to understand is really two things. I take responsibility. I have learned that trying to explain what happened made it sound to some people like I was trying to excuse it. There are no excuses. I take responsibility. I made a mistake. I've apologized. And obviously, I wish I could do differently what happened. I certainly would never do that again. With respect to classification, on classified documents, there is what's called a header. It says this material is top secret, secret, or confidential. There were no headers on the thousands of emails that I sent or received. There just weren't, and the FBI has not in any way contradicted that. There were a couple of emails with a tiny c in a parentheses, which did not have a header saying that means confidential in this circumstance, and which the director of the FBI has said, and the State Department has said, those couple of emails were improperly marked even with that. So yes, I take classification seriously, and I think the record shows that I have.
But authorities say that C stood for confidential.
There was no header that the document that the little c appeared in was marked confidential, which is the lowest form of classification.
So what you're saying is deeper in the email.
Oh, of course, absolutely. And that's what the director said.
The director also, though, said you were extremely careless. Do you agree with him?
Well, I respectfully disagreed.
Senator Kaine, let me ask you, though, what would you say to American voters who have heard Secretary Clinton apologize sitting across from me a year ago and her explanation here today, but who still find her untrustworthy?
I know Hillary Clinton, and I know I can count on her as our next president. I have a son in the military who is deployed overseas right now. I care very, very deeply about who the next commander-in-chief is. I completely count and trust Hillary Clinton to be a great commander-in-chief and to make the right decisions for the country. And the prospect of Donald Trump making those decisions about the life of my kid and millions of people who serve scares me to death.
The debate is 20 days away, the first one.
So I hear.
Are you nervous?
Well, I am certainly focused because, Donald Trump announces he won every debate in the Republican primary. I take that very seriously.
Donald Trump has said about you and the debates, I know how to handle Hillary. Do you know how to handle Trump?
Well, we'll see, won't we, on September 26th?